Having established a mutually resonant field between the current of civilization, the magnetic fields, and the psi bank, we may now see more clearly the psi bank structure in relation to the pattern of history. In this map, the psi cultural flow elements are reduced to the most essential factors as they manifest in the emergence of the hieratic pulses. Thus, what we see is a grand and simple design in which we may first distinguish an alteration of full and empty psi bank quadrants. Thus, the Afro-Eurasia plate, containing 4 of the 7 civilization pulses, is a full. The Pacific plate, void of any hieratic pulses, is the empty. The American plate, containing 2 pulses, is full. Furthermore, this plate contains the sole pulse south of the equator, the Andean, which actually occurs in the southern spring seasonal plate. The vertical binary pulsation of the 2 American civilizations may be contrasted to the horizontal movement of the 4 Afro-Eurasia pulsations. The Atlantic plate, finally, is relatively empty, save for the late winter emergence of the Nigerian pulse. Also indicated in the civilization flow key maps are the, quote, reverse flows, end quote, running counter to the geochronological movement of civilization. These, quote, reverse flows, end quote, may be linked to the operations of the AC current, whereas the actual civilization flow, flowing and following the Earth's rotation, is connected with the CA current. The reverse AC flows, related as they are to the sun's apparent movement and the current of prophecy and vision, hence, from future to present, may be understood as the process by which psi or psion information units, or archetypes, move around the world, seating themselves at different geomatic pulsation points. Dealing as we are with the evolving movement in time, we may note certain correspondences between the 2 full plates, the Afro-Eurasian and the American. As we have seen, the entire hieratic wave is initiated by the Great Pyramid in Egypt. In relation to Egypt, the Mesoamerican is the earlier or closer of the 2 American pulses. The hieratic psi bank map is also a temporal flowchart divided into 1,000-year seasons per every 90 degrees, beginning with hieratic 0. This result is a hieratic year commencing at CA 6000 PA and ending where it began at 2000 PA. The spring zone, 6000 to 5000 PA, marks the bursting forth of 2 of the 4 of the hieratic pulses of the Afro-Eurasia plate, the Neolithic and the Mesopotamian, which by the ends of the season are in full dynastic swing. Hieratic summer, 5000 to 4000 PA, witnessed the brilliant apogee of the Egyptian pyramid, accompanied by the unprecedented aesthetic urban flowering. In Mesopotamia, major dynastic shifts had already established Akkad rulership over the earlier Sumerian, while the counterpart of the Egyptian pyramid, the ziggurat, was in its classic stage. Further to the east, along the banks of the Indus, major urban, mercantile, and ceremonial centers were beginning to flourish, and in China, the 5 legendary emperors prepared the ground for a full-blown emergence of civilization along the Huanghe and the Yangtze rivers. The autumn season of the Hieratic year, 4000 to 3000 PA, saw the passing of the Golden Age in Egypt and the actual mingling of Neolithic and Mesopotamian civilization pulses through the rise of Phoenician, Hebrew, and Minoan cultures, thus initiating the long and restless struggle for supremacy in the Middle East. Along with the entry of the barbaric invaders like the Hittites and the Greeks, this period harbors the ascendancies of Babylonian power, inaugurating the imperial stage of hierarchical civilization. In Europe, enigmatic, geomantically designed monuments like Stonehenge awaited the arrival of the invaders like the Celts. To the east, Aryan invaders truncated the civilizational process in India before it had reached a golden age, thus establishing the intermediate Vedic civilization. In China, however, hieratic autumn marked the emergence of the House of Shang and the beginning of the brilliant civilization course whose integrity was not to be impaired until the drawing of the global industrial pulse. Across the Pacific and the Americas, the autumn season witnessed the preliminary emergence of the hieratic pulse of Mesoamerican and Andean civilizations. During the winter of the hieratic year, 3000 to 2000 PA, the Egyptian world lost its vigor and was replaced by the waves of curious Greeks, then Roman, artists, philosophers, soldiers, and emperors. The imperial phase of Mesopotamia saw the triumph of the Persian dynasties, and on the whole, the world from the Atlantic to the Persian Gulf became a swarm with cults pushed this way and that way by fanatic tides of imperial ambition. Vedic India, already spiritually reinvigorated by the teachings of Lord Buddha and unified by the Emperor Ashoka, had become the major seed ground of medieval forms and thought, while China was herself transitioned through the rise of philosophers and imperial power brokers, from the pristine to the imperial stages of hieratic civilization, all summarized by the construction of the monumental symbol of the imperial pride and ambition, the Great Wall, 2200 PA. Though winter marks the final stages of the hieratic pulses in the Afro-Eurasia plate, in the American plate it was the period of vigorous growth and emergence, while in Nigeria it saw the emergence of the earliest cultural style, the Nok. In the Andes, the Shivan cultural phase gave way to the Nazca and the Paracas, and ultimately to the mysterious builders of the Tiwanaku in Mesoamerica. The Olmecs paved the way for the most brilliant of American cultural stages, the Mayan and the Teotihuacan. While the Mayans excelled in mathematics and astronomy, it was the Teotihuacans who justly put an end to the hieratic year with the constructions of the Pyramid of the Sun. If the hieratic wave of the annual cycle marked its initiation with the Great Pyramid at the Giza in Egypt, its concluded counterpart, equally charged with cosmic calendrical significance, is the Pyramid of the Sun at Tiwanaku, quote, place where the gods touch the earth, end of quote.